to our citizens. Does that make sense, right?
Faithful, all my life you have it so many times. Gibson. Gibson. Still taking a knee. She ain't fighting against a man. Probably a transgender man. I'm not fighting against you and your penis. That's called fencing right there. Not fencing like stolen goods, but fencing with swords. Taking a knee. Blue Gina! Frozen water. I was gonna use that V8 jug. Not rinse it out. Just put water in. When you get through drinking it out, just put water in. It'll be like a watered down V8. You know how you mix water in your can when you're doing beans or something? Or chili in the can, and you put water in there to rinse it because their beans are stuck in there. Put some water in there and swash it around. That boy ain't letting nothing go to waste. He gets disqualified. Black card. a shame. Girls can't have nothing of their own.
Who you didn't want to have in office, the guy who didn't want to have the nuclear Dimona reactor in Israel,
Danielle!
trying to block AIPAC. You kill this guy to stop all of that. Then all of a sudden, oh my gosh, he's got a brother.
RFK's battle to register AIPAC was legendary. And I think if there had been the internet in the 60s and social media as it exists today, the media wouldn't have been able to bury this story. Many top journalists knew what was going on, but they didn't write about this.
And now he's looking like he might become the president. Man, how are you going to stop that, right? I'm just saying if. On June 5th, he is addressing his campaign supporters at the Ambassador Hotel in Los Angeles, okay? He concludes his remarks, he exits the stage, and the security begins escorting him through the back kitchen, when suddenly, you're not going to believe this is so perfect. An anti-Zionist Palestinian walks up and shoots him, and he dies. He's declared dead at the Good Samaritan Hospital the next day, 25 hours later. Oh my gosh, these Palestinians, you just cannot control them. Except that story doesn't appear to be entirely true either. By the way, not even RFK Jr., we're not in conspiracy land, not even RFK Jr., who visited Saran, the person who they say shot him, the Palestinian who they said shot and killed him in prison, RFK Jr. visited him, he doesn't even believe that story. Okay, this is the Washington Post. Who killed Bobby Kennedy? His son, RFK Jr., doesn't believe that it was Saran. You would have thought, by the way, that we would have all heard about this back in 2016. But we didn't, or at least I didn't, unless maybe I was under a rock. But even the people who were present when he was shot testified that Saran didn't kill him, but rather someone from behind RFK shot and killed him. Okay, take this guy, Paul Schrade, for example. This is a picture of Paul Schrade in 2016. Paul Schrade, at the age of 91 years old, appeared at Saran's parole hearing. Schrade was also shot at the Ambassador Hotel in Los Angeles. In fact, he got shot by Saran. And yet here he is, appearing for him to be released on parole. And he apologized for missing Saran's 14 previous parole hearings. He told Saran at that time, quote, "I should have been here long ago, and that's why I feel guilty for not being here to help you and to help me." After the hearing, while Saran was being taken away, Schrade shouted, "Saran, I am so sorry this is happening to you. It is my fault." I'm sorry, what? You're saying sorry to the guy who shot you? And the guy who shot RFK dead? Well, that's not the whole truth. What happened is not the whole truth. Well, at least what was presented to the public was not, if you believe Paul. And here is what he told the parole officers. I'm going to read you his remarks, which, as I said, you would have thought with the mainstream media would have gone, these would have gone viral, but I guess they were busy doing other stuff. Saran, I forgive you. The evidence clearly shows that you were not the gunman who shot Robert Kennedy. There is clear evidence of a second gunman in that kitchen pantry who shot Robert Kennedy. One of the bullets, the fatal bullet, struck Bob in the back of the head. 2 bullets struck Bob literally in his back.
That's the number one money maker right there.
Bullet struck the back of his coat's upper right seam and passed harmlessly through his coat. I believe all 4 of those bullets were fired from a second gunman standing behind Bob, or never behind Bob. Nor was Bob's back ever exposed to you. Indeed, Saran, the evidence not only shows you did not shoot Robert Kennedy, but it shows that you could not have shot Robert Kennedy. First, I want to show you this. It's a letter written in 2012 by...
Is it LJ Fox's birthday? Is she on here? Because I'm going to sing to her, even though she don't like me.
My good friend, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. RFK Jr.
She don't like me. Fucci's wife has been fired from the NIH. That's a man right there. That's Fucci likes to get the butthole too. He's gay. One of them's getting the butthole. Or they might be taking turns on each other. That's when you really love somebody. When you take turns playing with each other's butthole.
Excuse me.
What do you
want? I got a husband, so what do you want?
Okay. You also have a flat tire.
Oh, can you, help
No.
No, I can't help your ass. Get your rude ass in the car. Your boyfriend.
Call your husband.
Yeah, call your husband, bitch.
Excuse me.
What do you want? I got a husband, so what do you want?
Okay. You also have a flat tire.
Oh, can you, help
No. Call your husband.
Call your husband up, bitch.
Today,
Amy Coulter just had a tense exchange. Cruz unleashed on Democrats, calls this a party of rapists. She's fuming.
hate democracy. Democrats today are
Man, you need to savor that. Don't need it too fast.
I'm gonna eat some bread and jelly.
Where?
Okay. If I get me right up to the house, I need
Bread and jelly?
angry at the voters for re-electing Donald Trump and
And blue
electing a
beans?
Republican Senate and a Republican House.
Get some
and they
Bush baked
engaged in
beans.
lawfare
Bush is the best
stop
baked beans.
democracy from operating. Understand, this is the second phase of
Did you get the new
lawfare.
eggs?
Second chart.
Right.
This is the second phase
got
of
in 'em?
lawfare.
Yeah, this too.
Oh, wait,
Now
that's
that
it.
their
Go.
efforts to indict President Trump and stop the
That's
voters
where-
from
no, I did-
re-electing him have failed,
I
they're
did not. I
going
told
and
you
seeking
I
out
put eggs in there for
individual
Jody. Don't mess
radical
with him.
judges
You'll find out when he gets here
to
because this
try
is
to
baby.
shut down policies, and they are forum shopping like crazy.
did.
Give
How many's in
me
there?
any loon judge put on
There
the
ain't
bench
12
by
in there.
Obama
There's
or
11
Biden
last time I counted.
who disagrees with the policy. We just saw a judge
Huh?
flagrantly ignore
You
U.S.
throw down that
immigration
peanut butter, man. That's just thick.
concerning
It's good though, ain't it?
TPS being
That's
revoked.
belly feeling
U.S.
out there.
law
That shit'll stick
explicitly
to your
said
wall.
there's no judicial
Oh, yeah.
review for that. But hey, they
Yeah,
found
clog
a
you up when
judge
you go
who
to the
says,
bathroom
you know
too.
what?
You be
We, the
constipated, be in there
Democrat
shitting your
Party,
butt.
we are the party of
Shit your
illegal
guts
aliens.
out in
We
there
are
and
the party
just how you
of
get hemorrhoids.
murderers and
Well,
rapists and gang
it all
members.
comes out
And the
They gonna see it, a hemorrhoid when you taking a shower. When you bend over and show them the starfish.
Don't do that.
Man, stop lying. They done told me you did.
The people are sick and you need help.
Yeah.
Democrat
You
Party
need to stop
exists
doing all
here
that bullshit.
to
Where's Lisa? There she is. Good afternoon from the southeast there, Lisa. I heard it was your birthday. So you might well pull up a chair.
Can you put them on what they can talk?
Huh?
Can they talk?
They're chatting.
But then they
Well, they can write. They can't talk. A happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Admiral Fox. Man, don't be messing up my song. Happy birthday to you. Sorry about that, Fox. There's somebody in the crowd over there trying to join in the singing. I'm the one to get paid to sing.
Help!
Happy birthday, Fox.
fight
Please!
keep
They can hear
murderers
you.
and rapists and
You
gang
got peanut butter
members
on your
in
lip.
your communities. There's a reason the Democrat Party is at 26% approval nationwide.
Man,
Because
you
they
just
put
wolf that
radical
thing down,
policies
man.
ahead of rule of law.
Did you see that?
What?
Nationwide injunctions are an abuse
What?
of power.
You see
It
this
is
shit now?
judiciary acting as policy deciders, and it is incumbent on this committee and this body to rein in the abuse of power from these unelected radical judges who are trying to overturn the election because they disagree with what the voters decide.
You're in peanut
Thank
butter
you,
mode?
Senator Cruz. Senator Klobuchar.
Yeah.
Okay, that was a lot. Let me start with a few things. Number one,
Boy, look, a little bit of that
we love the democracy,
smoky
and
strawberry.
I believe
Oh,
what we should be
strawberry's
having
the
is a
best.
civil debate about how we can
Look,
best
little line of that
Donald
with
Trump
the
wants to
other
make
layer of
changes
that.
to the government. We should be doing it in
I
a
think that bitch is a man too. Look at her.
way, not how he's doing it. And the only reason there's all these injunctions that are Cruz is because he's violating the Constitution. Why would Trump-appointed judges?
Why don't you
rule-
file them in red districts?
Senator Cruz.
Why? What did you just say?
Why don't you file them in red
Point
districts?
of
Why are the
order.
Democrat attorneys
Senator Cruz.
general seeking out
Senator Cruz.
left-wing
My
blue
esteemed
single
colleague.
patient
One second.
Yeah.
Would you tear up
Senator
another?
Whitehouse. I'm just going to ask for a point
You ain't
of
got no
order.
crackers?
Madam Klobuchar.
Crackers is good with
Senator,
peanut
we
butter.
have debates on this committee. They
Rich,
occur
remember
regularly.
Wayne Griffith called
Let's
that
let
early
her
in
have
life.
her time,
Yeah.
and then we'll
Rich
get back to that.
Saturday,
You
peanut
can wait.
butter.
We'll get back to
I
Senator
tried
Cruz.
it.
Well,
Senator
Put some
Klobuchar.
cheese on it.
Go ahead.
Their choice.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
So
And I would
I
encourage
didn't
you to
Yeah,
answer.
yeah.
following Senator Cruz
Mushroom
once
anything.
again.
No,
But I will say
Excuse me, I didn't hear you. What did you say?
to be following him. He and I have a
I was
long-standing-
permitting you your time to continue. To be following him in order. Excuse me. Go ahead, Senator Klobuchar.
debate during
They
hearings.
ain't
Go
beating
ahead,
Texas.
That's what I'm
But you have-
referring
but you
to.
gotta
Go
have your
ahead.
trailer out.
And I
You
will
put me out
take
here
more
in
than
the
my
yard.
time since
Down
he's
here,
taken
you know,
more
you
than
might
his
have-
No,
time
it's
to
gonna be
yell at
today.
me.
Go
So
ahead.
what I will
I'm
say
moving-
is that
I'm
not yelling, I
That's
ask a
like this
question.
right now.
Senator
You gotta
Cruz,
move me out.
I'll give
Move
you
me out
time.
right here in the-
Senator Klobuchar, I've
somewhere
got the
around
time,
here.
and you're be allotted.
I am making these
Stay
strong
on the other
cases.
side of
The
what's called-
reason all these
across the
cases
street.
have been
On
filed,
the side.
and
It's
the
gray and
reason
white.
that these
Down-
judges
down
who have
the
been
road, down.
appointed
No,
by
not on this
Ronald
property.
Reagan, yes, they still exist,
Oh, I'm
and
laid off too?
Bushes and
Yeah.
Donald Trump.
Hey, you
Judges
was told,
appointed
man,
by
you got
Donald
plenty of time to
Trump
get that
have
shit
been
done.
making
Plenty
these
of time.
decisions is because this is not legal.
Dribble
Donald
and-
Trump himself
Juicy
has
Root's in
used
the
his
house.
social media
What's up,
account,
Juicy
the
Root?
White House account to post an image of himself
Are you good?
wearing a
That's one of your-
crown saying
Spain.
long
Where's you been?
live
You been
the
in the bar?
king.
Huh?
The issue
the bar?
is that we do not
Been at the
live
bar.
in a
Been great.
kingdom, and
Oh,
Elon
great.
Musk is not his court jester. Ours
Senator
is a
Trump?
nation of
Yeah.
laws in which no
Yeah.
one is above the law. That is why 39 different judges from vastly different backgrounds, appointed by 5 different presidents, have made clear that these
I'm
are
telling you.
illegal
I
actions.
know I am.
And these
Okay.
judges have rightly blocked these
trustworthy.
actions. And it is important
Yeah.
that
You
we
might
not
just
lose
change
sight
your name, it's a piece
of
of
the
paper,
underlying
you want
cause
money,
of
you
these
want
injunctions. It is not that these judges are crooked or lunatics
I don't want to.
or
I would die out
evil.
there. Somebody
Those are
come up here and
words
try to get
used
something
by
out of
the
you.
president
And wasn't part
and
of
his
it.
Oh, and they're gonna be here
allies.
Friday too.
It is
Wasn't
They
part
got,
of
they
because
got a thing,
the
event going on Friday. You could have
administration
made
is
some money then,
violating
but
the Constitution.
yep.
What
Because-
happens
Yep.
when they use these kinds of
Could have
words?
made some money
you see
Friday, but
more
nope.
and more
Bubbles will be here
threats
soon.
against Judges.
Tell him to hurry it up.
And that is what we're seeing. That is why federal
Your
judges
fans,
and the U.S.
Juicy Root and
Marshals
Bubbles.
who are
two
responsible
of
for
them.
protecting them are
they're
sounding the
girls.
alarm about a spike in threats
Well,
against
it's gonna
judges.
look like a man dressed up like
This
a woman,
is
but you gotta call them
serious.
girls.
And
They identify as
unlike
women.
what Senator
There's not a
Cruz
real girl
said,
pussy in there.
I'm remembering when the threat was
Well,
made,
Bubbles
the
and-
horrific
Bubbles and Juicy
threat
Root
to
ain't.
the
I'm
man
not
was
talking
in
about
Justice
Yeah,
Kavanaugh's
Admiral's a
neighborhood
woman,
on his street.
Luigina's a
on a
woman,
bipartisan basis,
Danielle's a woman.
we came together and
Oh, they-
got more
and-
funding for
Not
the
in you,
judges
no.
and changed things
Why
so
they
that
want
they
you?
had
Juicy
more
and
protections.
Bubbles-
So what he said was
Bubbles is-
completely
Juicy
untrue
Root and Bubbles is
in terms
interested in
of
you.
Democrats and
But they're women.
Republicans
They're not.
decrying
They ain't
violence.
saying like
We
they're
didn't
a
just
man.
decry the
Well, they
violence.
identify
We
as a
actually
woman.
Well, we
did
can
something
let
about
all
it
that identify.
in
Well,
response
you
to
can't.
a
Yeah, we
court
are.
that is
Yes,
run
we are.
by
Get
Justice
Trump here, we're gonna
Roberts.
quit that. You're going to
who is
jail.
a Republican appointee.
Yeah, they put people
so
in jail
I
and
think
they're
that
weird.
kind of language
there's
actually
that.
makes a
They'll
situation
put 'em in a women's
worse
prison.
when it's not even true. But unfortunately,
I just
Senator
wanted to
Cruz
say
left,
that
so he
I
did
was
not
a correctional
hear
officer
my
at
response to
Angola,
what
and I
was
a
a
correctional
lie.
officer in Baton Rouge.
Mhm.
And I put in, they said, put in 5 that you want to go to. We already took the civil service test.
Autos and auto parts. Let's bring in our econ panel, Steve Moore, and a
First 25% tariffs go on tonight at 12:01 on cars.
Come
and
on,
parts.
listen.
former economic
you
advisor
gonna
for
vote
President
for
Trump,
Biden, too.
and Robert Wolf, a former economic advisor to President Obama. Okay, the conversation continues, gentlemen. In the proclamation, President Trump says this. Again, we just received this. I'm also advised that agreements entered into before the issuance of Proclamation 9888, such as the revisions to the U.S.-Korea Free Trade Agreement and the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement, USMCA, have not yielded sufficient positive outcomes, okay? It goes on to state that the first 25% tariffs on autos will be collected at 12:01 a.m. Eastern Time tonight or tomorrow morning, depending on how you look at it, April 3rd. Okay, auto parts, 25%. May 3rd is the 25% tariff on that will be collected on all foreign auto parts. So, and from in the Rose Garden at 4 o'clock Eastern Time, an hour and a half from now, is officially filed for tariffs on autos and auto parts. Let's bring in our econ panel, Steve Moore, and a former economic advisor for President Trump, and Robert Wolf, a former economic advisor to President Obama. Okay, the conversation continues, gentlemen. In the proclamation, President Trump says this. Again, we just received this. I'm also advised that agreements entered into before the issuance of Proclamation 9888, such as the revisions to the U.S.-Korea Free Trade Agreement and the United States Mexico-Canada Agreement, USMCA, have not yielded sufficient positive outcomes, okay? It goes on to state that the first 25% tariffs on autos will be collected at 12:01 a.m. Eastern time tonight or tomorrow morning, depending on how you look at it, April 3rd. Okay, auto parts, 25%. May 3rd is the 25% tariff on that will be collected on all foreign auto parts. So, in the Rose Garden at 4 o'clock Eastern time, an hour and a half from now, is officially filed for tariffs on autos and auto parts. Let's bring in our econ panel, Steve Moore, and a former economic advisor for President Trump, and Robert Wolf, a former economic advisor to President Obama. Okay, the conversation continues, gentlemen. In the proclamation, President Trump says this. Again, we just received this. I'm also advised that agreements entered into before the issuance of Proclamation 9888, such as the revisions to the U.S.-Korea Free Trade Agreement and the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement, USMCA, have not yielded sufficient positive outcomes, okay? It goes on to state that the first 25% tariffs on autos will be collected at 12:01 a.m. Eastern time tonight or tomorrow morning, depending on how you look at it, April 3rd. Okay, auto parts, 25%. May 3rd is the 25% tariff on that will be collected on all foreign auto parts.
How's that peanut butter?
So,
Now you need to get you another.
in the Rose Garden at 4 o'clock Eastern time, an hour and a half from now, is officially filed for tariffs on autos and auto parts. Let's bring in our econ panel, Steve Moore, and a former economic advisor for President Trump, and Robert Wolf, a former economic advisor to President Obama. Okay, the conversation continues, gentlemen. In the proclamation, President Trump says this. Again, we just received this. I'm also advised that agreements entered into before the issuance of Proclamation 9888, such as the revisions to the U.S.-Korea Free Trade Agreement and the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement, USMCA, have not yielded sufficient positive outcomes, okay? It goes on to state that the first 25% tariffs on autos will be collected at 12:01 a.m. Eastern time tonight.
Or people gonna get mad. Please don't go with that bread. Why didn't you get that boy a salad?
Yes, 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 yes. Skibidi dip, skibidi double, double. Yes, 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 yes.
He's just walking down the street with a big loaf of bread.
It gets a lot of looks from other drivers, but if the state
when flipped upside down and gave him a 30-day cancellation warning.
of Texas is correct, it's also turning heads because of the license plate on the car.
Asshole.
The DMV says the plate is offensive. The owner disagrees. You be the judge. Joel Eisenbaum has the story only on 2 tonight.
About the Houston plates? High rollers love them, and so do others. In fact, there are more than 120,000 personalized license plates in Texas. Safir Hassan, for the last 3+ years, has had one on his Lamborghini.
370H55V, as in Victor.
The problem is the state says this puzzling alphanumeric jumble is no longer acceptable. They told him by letter, quote, it has been determined that the personalization is offensive. The DMV has hummed this tune before. The standard for revocation?
Would it invoke a response from other drivers that may be driving past that vehicle?
Hassan argues his plate doesn't meet that standard.
I definitely think the state is overreaching their boundaries.
I mean, you still haven't figured out why this plate could be considered offensive, have you? How about when we flip it over? You're now looking at a blurred-out cuss word, and it took the state some time to reach the conclusion, but apparently...
You put it together, asshole, and that's going grandma's over here in the passenger seat. She could be driving, but she's over here getting all bent out of shape because she's supposed to keep her eyes on the road, not on the back of that car.
Apparently, they don't think it's funny. Quote, cancellation will occur 30 days from the date of this letter. Hassan is welcome to find another personalized plate, but he won't be refunded if
How about butthole?
Doesn't. Hassan is strongly considering appealing the state's decision, but he has to do it in writing, and he has to do it pretty quickly. It's better, though, than getting stuck with a fairly lame license plate like mine. Joel Eisenbaum, KPRC Channel 2 News.
Joel Eisenbaum, hard-hitting journalist on the street. If I can't have you, I don't want nobody, baby. See, that's a 1977 song from back when Frank was out there dancing in the discos. know, I used to skate to this music. Riding in the Volkswagen with Mama. When she'd come down there and pick us up to come up to her house on the weekend, we'd be riding up 85. She'd let me drive. I'd drive from the passenger seat like that right there. And then she'd have this kind of music playing in the damn car. And she said, Jamie, how you like them bell-bottom jeans I got you? I said, Mama, I ain't wearing that shit. Them girls back then didn't shave their armpits neither, or their monkeys. What's all that hair down there for? That's to keep dust out of it. That's what happens when you got the hairs in your nose. It keeps the dirt out of your nose. That's where you get boogers from. I don't want nobody, baby. I don't want nobody, baby. If I can't have you. Yeah. If I can't have you. I don't want nobody, baby. If I can't have you. He looks like a Chinese girl. Or Filipino. That dog getting something to drink. What the hell kind of toilet is that? Turn it off. Oh, and he's wiping his face off too. Chapman. Who is this? Mr. Banks, how much you want to pay?
Okay, we're gonna pay. I'm gonna pay $200 starting the day, you know, so we can get that rib.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we'll do it later.
Yeah, let me go back and get it back to the manual.
With law enforcement officers all over the state of Kansas, local cops, elected local officers and sheriffs, cops that work directly for me under our supervision, cops that worked in local agencies, and all sorts of federal law enforcement officers as well as federal prosecutors who operated in our jurisdiction. I will tell you, in the course of those 12 years, I never saw an FBI agent perform less than honorably. Not once. And I never recall a single time in those rooms. Now, if I'd go down the street to the political party meetings, I'd hear conversations like we heard some today and we've heard a lot over the last 4 years. I'd hear all that all the time. If I turned on the television, I'd see it all the time. I never heard it among cops working a case. I heard folks who knew each other and liked each other and cooperated with each other who said, how are we going to get that child molester off the streets? How are we going to solve this murder? How are we going to deal with that case of elder abuse? How are we going to deal with that crime that's in front of us? That's the FBI I know, and it's the law enforcement world that I know. And I would just ask, Mr. Whitson, you're first up here, is that consistent or inconsistent with the law enforcement community you operated in?
It's absolutely consistent. I'd say I had partners that I worked with for years on cases, and if you asked me what political party those people were in, I couldn't tell you. And they couldn't tell you the same for me when I was in the FBI. So that is the real FBI. When you go up to the field offices and you get away from headquarters, that's the real FBI, the real work. That's what they're like.
And Mr. Stout, you were a local or state officer or both before being federal. How about you? Is what I just described consistent or inconsistent with your experience?
I just like that singing there, Admiral. That's pretty good, but lost. Yeah, they elected that Democrat judge up there in Wisconsin. Bullshit, fake, stolen election, another one. Trump terrorist announcements. What do you say? That's at 4 o'clock though? Oh, we'll put it on there until he comes on. Well, let me know when he comes on. We'll go over our live.
哎，不是，哎，翻过来我看看。
我操！
云南人指导巅峰赛。当然得多哦。
Crazy. That wild honey. Oh, Val Kilmer, he died. Val Kilmer died. Put him on the list, baby.
He put his boots on.
That's when he was playing Jim Morrison. Jim Morrison's daddy was tied up with the MK Ultra shit. He was in the CIA.
He took a face from the
Riders on the Stone. I hated them.
ancient gallery, and he walked on down the hall.
Hippie bullshit. That's some of Frank's crap.
He went into the room where his sister lived, and then he paid a visit to his brother, and then he walked on down the hall, yeah. And he came to a door, and he looked inside. Father? Yes, son, I want to kill you. Mother? I want to fuck you,
I ain't seen any news on it though. Man who loads big pharmacy guns down innocent Walgreens worker in California. Four straight Republicans reportedly plan to defy him and vote for the Democrat measures to sabotage his Canadian tariff policy. Primary all of them. Mitch McConnell, Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, and Rand Paul. Biden judge shocks and dismisses case against New York City Mayor Eric Adams. Randy Fine comfortably wins Florida congressional race as Democrats squander $9 million war chest. Speaker Johnson cancels votes for the rest of the week, derailing 2 critical bills despite having power to proceed. I don't trust his little wormy ass. He looks like a Jew. We're at Idaho quadruple murder case. The other House Republicans joined Democrats to derail 2 critical bills due to proxy voting feud. Sent me a sample of a plastic sheet that was collecting fallout from the skies of Florida. It's also collected fallout from a recent fog event that sickened a lot of people. Samples both under the microscope and also via ICP-MS mass spec analysis for heavy metals. Absolutely shocking, even horrifying. I'm not and I'm not one to be easily rattled by low levels of metals. They're killing us, man. Trump's supposed to be doing a task force against that. Kill him well.
What the hell? You saw that? Holy shit!
That's why I don't play in the water.
About facts, here's one fact I know. It's night and day. Dealing with the Bondi Patel Justice Department versus the Garland Ray Justice Department. Under the Pam Bondi as Attorney General, the Foreign Influence Task Force, that group that was responsible for censoring Americans, has been disbanded. The school board's memorandum has been rescinded. We sent 7 subpoenas to Kash Patel 5 weeks ago. The response we've gotten is unbelievable compared to what we got under the previous Justice Department. He's actually given us thousands of documents already, new information that we tried to get from Director Ray that he wouldn't give us. We've already received. We'll be talking about some of that. So that is the fact. Complete change.
That's a fact, Jack.
From where we were with the previous Justice Department. The previous Justice Department, of course, that couldn't tell us who planted the pipe bombs, who leaked the Dobbs opinion, who put cocaine at the White House. Couldn't tell us answers to those questions. But they had plenty of time to put together the memo to say we're going to investigate moms and dads in a school board meeting, as the chairman pointed out. They put together a memorandum. We've now learned it wasn't just in the Richmond field office, but in other field offices where they were equating pro-life Catholics to extremists. We know they raided the president's home. We know they retaliated against whistleblowers. They even put together, the previous speaker talked about politics. Politics, the FBI created a questionnaire where they asked their employees about other employees who were maybe giving information to us as whistleblowers. Did that person support Trump? That is as political as you can get. So the real thing here is it's literally night and day, the difference between the kind of information that we're able to receive, the help that we're getting, and the focus on going after traditional bad guys, not having half your agents and half your budgets focused on surveilling the American people. Let's go get the traditional bad guys. That's what Kash Patel is doing at the FBI, getting the FBI back to the mission they've had before, which I know some of our witnesses who served there are going to talk about. So I thank the chairman for putting this together, and I thank our witnesses for being here, and I yield back.
Let me email this to him. I'll be right back with you. Changes, eggs out, minimize, superimpose.
Country in the world.
India.
India? It's not India. That's a good guess, though. Give me one more guess. It's definitely India.
It's definitely India. India's the nastiest place you can go to.
What is the
World War III with Iran. White thing you see all day. Rollerblade with a horse. Rollerblade. I used to love riding horses.
President Trump, my name is Denver Moore, and I'm going to be 104 in May.
What about you're young, man, according to all them damn Social Security checks they were sending out to people that's 120 years old and older.
And I'm inviting you to my
Moon Man. I sang to Admiral Fox. It's her birthday.
Birthday party, the 17th, here in Canal Fulton, and I'm living in a rest home called Danbury, and I got to vote for you again, and I hope I can vote for you some more.
Awesome. He's a World War II.
Put him back in there. My life changed when I found Q. And not in a small way. Q led me back to God, which is completely my worldview. Been in a fight for truth 25 long years. Joe Budden and Ish debating the Kanye West fallout with Jim Jones. You dropped $2 million for a Crypto Connect only to get ghosted on a PDF. The clothing designs leaving Joe to argue it's business. Wallace believes that Jim was wrong. He did you a favor, return the favor back.
Back and said, I don't know how to do a PDF. Which Kanye took offense to, because it's like, okay, even if you don't, you just got $2 million. You don't think you could have figured out how to go get a PDF done or get it done if you just got $2 million? Which sounds like it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
it
does. It makes sense. If that story is true, that's wow. You make a couple million, you make a couple $100,000, you make a couple thousand, you can pay somebody to make a PDF.
You can manage to go to Kinko's and get somebody to do that for you.
Exactly.
I think they was doing a collab, or they was piling on some clothing shit, and that's when he said, like, whatever styles that you already got, send me the PDF of all the shit. I think if I just made $2 million.
Where you at? All right, heard up.
Let me tell you. To be inside, I will talk to you outside. You're not going to step outside your house. You do not have a We're warrant gonna to be talk inside right of my house. I'm not inside your house. You're inside of my house. Let me tell you why I'm right here. Because you walked in. No, because they opened the door and ran from me. And That's I'm why. telling you, I am the adult and I'm here. telling This you is my home. that now that I'm inside your house, I own your house right now. You do not. Yes, I do. You don't own it. Yes, I do. What I need- know my rights. I don't care if you know your rights. And I'm telling you, my dog will bite you if I tell her to bite you. So your I'm dog's asking bite- you to bite. I'm not going to talk to you What outside. the do you want? Bring your supervisor to my home now. You have no right to be inside because they opened the door. They're minors. I'm the adult here. This is my home. She said she's the adult. She's not the adult. She's my daughter. Get the out of my home. I'm not going to get out of your house. Then call your supervisor right now. 415 noise. And put me to the ground. I double dog dare you. Touch- You're in my
Double
house.
dog dare
You're
you.
in my house. Don't do that. You're in my house. I didn't touch you to her. Did I touch you?
That's a lawsuit. You ain't got no warrant. You ain't supposed to be in there, motherfucker. Mother. Sorry about that.
That,
Family show.
in the end, is their choice.
This is Anthony Fauci's wife. She's a man. Once told healthcare workers to get the COVID vaccine or get fired. She was fired from the NIH. Clarification, she was not fired. She was reassigned to the Indian Health Service as part of a broader recruitment.
Even if they're a nurse, they may
said she
not
was
be
fired
able to
from
work in
NIH.
the facility that they've been working in, but
How
they've,
much you want to bet she's a Jew?
they've made a choice on their own. And in the end, if people decide not to get vaccinated, that in the end is their choice. Even if they're a nurse, they may not be able to work in the facility that they've been working in, but they've made a choice on their own. And in the end,
Yeah, make a choice. You can either get the jab or you can get fired. Take your choice. It's your choice. We're just leaving it up to you.
Be able to work in the facility that they've
It's called
been working
coercion.
in, but they've made a choice on their own. And in the end, if people decide not to get vaccinated, that in the end is their choice. Even if they're a nurse, they may not be able to work in the.
The police are on their way. Dude, get out of the store. Okay, sure. Yeah, you need to get out of the store, dude. No, you need to get out of the store.
Send him back to Africa.
Yeah. No, get out of the store, sir.
Go, them.
The police are on their way. Dude, get out of the store.
Musk with the flag out here.
You want to repeat history and get in the basket.
Okay. I know some people have been firebombing different Teslas. What do you think about those kind of protests against them?
I mean, the French do it.
Okay. I know people call him a Nazi. Do you think Musk's a Nazi?
He did the salute.
Yeah. But you think he's... I know people have defended that. You think he's literally a Nazi? Yeah. So, do you want to see people boycott Teslas moving forward? Absolutely. I know. Do you think it's a little bit ironic that climate activists are boycotting the most popular EV in America? One more thing. I noticed. I'll blur out is what I think is your phone number.
No.
Are you gonna get protest?
This is the hotline for legal aid.
Oh, okay.
Just in case
Hotline for legal aid.
Okay, were you planning on protesting to
coordinated.
potentially be arrested?
Most of the protests I have been to, I haven't ever been, and it's usually permitted, and the cops are usually just here to protect us, and vice versa. But it's just on the off chance, should everything go a fuck, just there, just in case.
Can I see the number one more time?
Yeah.
And what is it?
Hold up. I want to get that number.
Cops are usually just here to protect us and vice versa, but it's just on the off chance, should everything go a fuck, just there, just in case.
Can I see the number one more time?
Yeah.
And what is
212. That's a Washington number. 679 5100. Chapman's. Hello? Yeah. That's me. Yeah, no, I'm not interested. I'm on another line. Thank you.
Thank you for calling the National Office of the National Lawyers Guild. If you know your party...
National Lawyers Guild.
Please note that the National Office does not provide legal advice or legal referrals over the phone. Visit nlg.org for our referral directory or to find a chapter near you. For protest or demonstration legal support in New York City, please call the New York City chapter of the Guild at 212-679-6018 or visit nlgnyc.org.
org.com.
Mass defense programs and inquiries for protest support, press 2. For information,
please hold while we connect your call to extension 2.
That's some good music right there. Flight of the Bumblebee, ain't it? No, that's not Flight of the Bumblebee.
To have a life off grid, and the
in this country. So are you saying
to ignore a judge's ruling.
You have reached the National Lawyers Guild National Office Mass Defense Program. The best way to reach us is via email at massdef@nlg.org. That's massdef as in mass defense at nlg.org. If you are looking for legal observers or an attorney, you should contact your closest chapter or member. Please leave your name, phone number, and email address with your message.
They suck.
But a judge ordered that he should remain in this country. So are you saying that it is okay to ignore a judge's ruling if you don't like it?
Who does that judge work for?
He's an immigration
It was an
judge.
immigration judge who works for the Department of Justice at the direction of the Attorney General of the United States, whose name is Pam Bondi, who has committed to eradicating MS-13 from our nation's interior.
But a judge ordered that he should remain.
Yeah, fuck these judges doing this shit. Y'all gonna keep pushing, man. Y'all gonna keep pushing.
So are you saying that it is okay to?
Question for you: is it a sin to criticize Jews?
Yes.
Not that I know of.
Or say there are two answers to this question. One is yes, and the other is no.
No,
if you
I see it.
if you say yes, then tell me how Jesus Christ committed a sin, because he criticized Jews, didn't he? If you say yes, then tell me how Moses was an anti-Semite, because he criticized Jews. I'm a follower of Jesus Christ. That means I have a responsibility to the truth, and if it means criticizing Jews, I have a duty to do that. Because Jesus Christ is the man I follow.
Yeah, he even made a whip and whipped the moneylenders,
Right.
the money changers.
Listen, I got a question for you. Is it?
I think Owen Benjamin. I think he needs the most powerful news show in the world. You know, people say he's controversial here, he's controversial there. I think Owen Benjamin needs to be platformed. I think he needs to be. I think they should replace Joe with Owen Benjamin, because Joe is obviously sane. Owen Benjamin might be losing his mind. He might be on a mental downward spiral. But if you give him a platform, imagine what could happen. Imagine the amount of chaos that would happen as a result of him just taking over Joe Rogan. Like, it's just going to be the Owen Benjamin experience, and it'll be beautiful. You don't know the kind of things that he could say. You don't know the thing he could say tomorrow. Give him InfoWars, but InfoWars is already, like, kind of ruined, right? He had the whole Sandy Hook lawsuit. Put him on Joe Rogan. Just replace Joe with him for, like, a week and see what happens. Give him full creative control over the podcast. What kind of guest is Owen Benjamin going to be bringing on if he has 1 week? Imagine. It could be amazing. I mean, the content would be unreal, frankly. Like, you guys, you know, anyone in chat saying, like, you know, don't put him on. No, put him on. Put him on. I want to hear it. I want to hear what he has to say. Give him the biggest platform in the world and let him say whatever he wants for a week and just watch the destruction.
No, but here's the thing. That cost him dearly. His agency left him, and then comedy clubs banned him for that. That was the beginning.
I think he just steered into that skid.
Well, that's...
Like, you realize if he was on Joe Rogan, we would have years of content from that 1 week. If you replace Joe Rogan with Owen Benjamin for a week and let him decide the guests and let him decide what Jamie pulls up, we'll be talking about it for centuries.
And he's been relentless,
The thing Trump said about him and President Trump signed it.
really, ever since.
Yeah, well, Bill, when he showed up at the White House, he'd actually brought a list of insults Trump had said about him and gave it to Trump. And what did he do? He signed it, which is very Trumpian. And they laughed and they laughed. Kudos to Maher. You know, he knows this is going to burn whatever bridge that remains with the tolerant left. But he said full steam ahead. And you got to give credit to Kid Rock. You know, he went out on a limb, you know, as a bridge between two quarreling people that he happens to be friends with, and that is sharing the risk at its best. And what do you do when you share the risk? It causes other people to share the risk too. So both of these guys had something to lose, but they put their egos aside because they realized there's nothing to lose at all once you put your egos aside. And because Kid Rock was able to take the risk, they all decided to take the risk, and I think they're going to win from it. The scariest part for a lot of people is finding out that Trump might be a good person, because you've sunk so much of your energy and your life into him being bad. So you might not want to meet him, because the moment that you have to relinquish any of that sunk cost, what's left? That's why you still have, and I think it's easier for Democrats. It's not for never Trump Republicans. they can't let it go because their entire identity is wrapped around that definition of who they are. They go into a room with them, that sunk cost destroys them.
That's why I never want to meet AOC.
Yes.
It'll make it harder for me to ridicule her.
Yes, that is so true.
I don't want to be empathetic.
Yes, that's why I wish I never met you.
Yeah, exactly.
What? What? Did you just say I would be attracted to AOC? Where did you get that
You're
from?
a live straight man. I think.
Don't even. Chapman's. Hey, what's going on, man? I got the email now. I don't normally look at my emails. TC Palmer, Bagley, can you get out there to it? Yeah, let me hold on, let me get some information. Yeah, hold on a minute. Hawk Logistics. Well, what's your name? Javier. All right. You got a driver down there with the trailer? All right. What trailer number is it? And where's it located? What's the address? East Point. All right, and you said it's a problem with the landing gear. Yeah. What's your reference number on it?
We can use the same trailer number. I don't have one created yet, but we can use that one.
All right, let me get somebody out there.
Okay, perfect.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Kanye sample for the outro of Live for the Party.
You ready, mama?
It's one of them slingshot rides.
Let's go shoot us in the air, mama, okay? You ready? Hold your head back. Hold your head back. Okay. Ready? Okay, mama? It's too late. We're gonna do it. Come on, Pete. I got you. It's okay, mama. Hold your head back. Hold your head back. 2, 1. Come on. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay, mama. It's okay. Daddy's here. Daddy's here. Daddy's here. Daddy's here. Daddy's here. Daddy's right here. It's okay, mama. Daddy's here. Daddy's here. Stop crying. Daddy's right here. Daddy's here. Daddy's here. Okay. Okay. See, it's okay. It's going down. It's Obama.
You want to ride again?
Daddy got you. Now they gonna push us all the way down. Okay? They gotta bring you. It's okay. You didn't cry, right? Say no, bitch. All right.
I know you did good. I'm proud
Yo,
of you.
yeah, she got more heart than you. Her daughter got more heart than you.
Hold up your feet.
See? Lift, huh? Lift your feet. Lift your feet. Like this, B. We're not going over. We done.
You did a good job.
It was scary.
Good job.
It was scary.
Robbie, what are you sending?
And nobody suffered any consequences.
FBI whistleblowers for the strong muscle cast tail and damage, Democrats attack us, we attack them.
Mm-hmm. Nobody went to prison, right? Some people lost their jobs. Right. Maybe they like it better outside. I don't know. But like, it didn't matter. They all got CNN gigs. They all got MSNBC gigs. No one suffered. And so why not run it again? And they ran the exact same op with just different shades in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
So what should happen, Kyle? Like, if you were in charge of this, what would you advise? Like, what should happen to ensure that it doesn't happen again? I don't have to do this show in 2028, brother.
Well, we're probably going to do it. Let's be real, because that's just the nature of the status quo is basically undefeated in this country right now. But let's say what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Let's say mutually assured destruction was a pretty good situation, and it worked pretty well in the 80s. We never went to nuclear war with Russia. We never went to with the USSR. We lost one of the great Cold Warriors, Val Kilmer, a.k.a. Iceman, right? Just lost him overnight. One of my favorite people of all time. Reminds me, mutually assured destruction was if you attack me, then you get attacked in equal and opposite kind. They went after Donald Trump with 18 U.S.C. 241, conspiracy against rights. And that was supposedly because he defrauded the American people of their right to be able to elect the president and select, and this was January 6 nonsense. That's what they went with. Conspiracy against rights. It's very broad. Conspiracy means it didn't even have to happen, by the way. It just means that you planned for it to happen and you had an executable plan. And so the discussion of that plan is enough. Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, the director's advisory team, the folks that are working inside the Bureau right now have the ability to query these comms. They can find the conspiracy. Those are criminal charges under 18 U.S.C. They could actually go after. And it's not the first time that somebody who's worked for the FBI has been indicted for criminal conspiracy or has done something criminal. Generally speaking, the biggest reason to get removed from the FBI is when you embarrass the FBI. And what is more embarrassing than weighing in on not one, but two different presidential elections and having people run an op against the guy who's currently the sitting president? And as you mentioned, 20% approval rating for the other team right now. Democrats lean into the 20 when there's an 80-20 issue. They go and find the fringe minority and they own it. They wear it. They put the skin on like it's their own. Okay, fine. You get to own that. Let's go ahead and prosecute some people that have done some things wrong. And then you can get all the people that were crying about defund the police and saying that the cops are the bad guys. Okay, sure, there are some people that are bad. I heard Kash Patel say, let good cops be good cops. Do you know who was standing behind him when he had that press conference? Stanley Meador.
A very bad cop.
Okay, the guy who actually was the special agent in charge in Richmond when they went out and published that radical traditionalist Catholics were potentially close to white supremacists and likely to be recruited by white supremacists to do God knows what. The same guy that was the final straw on whether or not that got approved was standing behind him during the good cops discussion, because that guy also got promoted. And you know who hasn't been promoted? Because he's still suspended forever, is my friend Garrett O'Boyle. He's gone 30 plus months without a paycheck for telling people about real corruption like this and talking about, hey, here's the cases where FBI agents were investigating parents at school board meetings. And these are the specific parents, because when I released the first piece of it and I went to weaponization and said, look, they've introduced this threat tag and now the FBI is actually saying they're going to use counterterrorism resources on parents, that's pretty bad. The question is, did they actually do it? And Garrett O'Boyle was part two. He was the second punch in that, where he went to Jim Jordan's committee and said, not only did they release a threat tag saying they were going to do it, here's the actual parents' names whose rights were violated, and here's the people who were actually going to be the victims of that lie that the Attorney General was involved in. You mentioned Merrick Garland earlier. He was the source of all this, but all of this stuff actually comes to a slightly lower level of corruption. People like Lisa Monaco, people like Lee Loftus, who are the number twos sitting in the DOJ that actually run the DOJ historically. Like, the Attorney General is kind of a figurehead. They give you like broad policy, but they're not actually managing specific offices. And so a lot of this stuff got carried out by people who are legitimately what we call deep state. They're administrative state. They're people that have been there for 20 or 30 years. They always get to retire. They never end up going and paying for any of this stuff. Their names are never publicized when the Office of General Counsel says, by the way, we had a finding of wrongdoing from 3 years ago, and these are all the things they did. They did this, and they did this, and all this, and here's the case for it. And we've also sort of concluded that this is true based on the burden of proof that we have. But that person has retired, so we have no options. We referred it to FBI and DOJ has decided not to prosecute their own people because they went and they work in the private sector. The same lady who removed me, she works for General Electric. She has a job in aviation as a chief security person. And she removed a bunch of Christians specifically for saying they didn't want to get the vaccine shots and said, we have a sincerely held belief against this. And she said, well, we're going to pull your security clearance because you are not loyal to our regime. And you have some personal guidelines because we don't agree with the way you think. They did a straight up purge in the FBI. You heard Jim Jordan say this for the last couple of years. That's not fake talk. That's not just like someone being hyperbolic because they're in Congress and running for office. They legitimately purged dissent. So there were two types of people. The people who said, I don't think this is right and I'm going to highlight myself, you get removed. And the people who saw those people get removed and go, man, I still got a paycheck and the stuff I'm doing is not directly doing any criminality. I'm going to keep doing my job and shut my mouth.
Hey, I need that ticket.
And so people have learned the exact wrong lesson. And unless we have accountability, where some people pay and some people are made whole, which is a really big thing. If some people are not made whole and corrected, I actually got Schellenberger yesterday with my April Fool's tweet. Like I posted that Garrett O'Boyle and Steve Friend were reinstated with full back pay and benefits, and they've been promoted. And I got Miranda Devine. We got Alan Fuhr at the New York Times, so it goes to both sides, both in New York. We had Schellenberger, Project Veritas, various other people going like, yeah, congratulations.
Just like them onion rings I cook, girl. That boy's got some skill. That's my first thing cooking onion rings. First time I ever made homemade onion rings. They were pretty good.
And it's like,
and all of them was from one onion. I got like 3 big onions. I'm gonna make some more this weekend too.
Yeah, that was a joke because it's April Fool's. That should have totally.
I need to do something though. I got to figure out a way to get, because I got that panko breading to put on them. But after I dipped it in the batter, and then dipped it in the bread, and the bread got all clobbered up.
Happened. That's why it was plausible, and that tells you exactly where America's at right now.
You too, girl. I was thinking about you this morning when I said this Wednesday. I wonder what Jennifer's doing. Probably bad things.
The right people are still waiting for justice.
Trump's live.
We can't have that.
Trump might be live. Gifts is over there calling me a dummy.
Canada, by the way, imposes a 250 to 300% tariff on many of our dairy products. They do the first can of milk. They do the first little carton of milk at a very low price, but after that it gets bad, and then it gets up to 275, 300%. So when they're figuring what's Canada charging, they say, oh, about 2%, 3%. But take a look at what happens down the road. When you look a little bit, it's not a pretty picture, and we don't like it, and it's not fair. It's not fair to our farmers. It's not fair to our country. And with countries like Canada, we subsidize a lot of countries and keep them going and keep them in business. In the case of Mexico, it's $300 billion a year. In the case of Canada, it's close to $200 billion a year.
I'll get better at it.
And I say, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? I mean,
and I told Joyce, I said, I want to get one of them the old-timey homemade ice cream things. My grandmother had one, and you put it, it like spins around. Put it on a thing of ice and spins around. I want to get one of them.
What point do we say?
Make me some homemade ice cream. What kind, Jamie? Strawberry. Strawberry is my favorite ice cream.
Work for yourselves, and you got it. This is why we have the big deficits. This is why we have that.
Jennifer is Admiral Fox's birthday. She's over there in the Kickside. I sang to her.
Amount of debt that's been placed on our head.
She's been crying since I did that. Been crying ever since I sang to her like that.
Heads over the last number of years, and we're really not taking it anymore. Through non-tariff barriers, the European Union bans imports of most American poultry. You understand? They say, we want to send you our cars, we want to send you everything, but we're not going to take anything that you have. Australia bans, and they're wonderful people and wonderful everything, but they ban American beef, yet we imported $3 billion of Australian beef from them just last year alone. Any of our beef,
crazy girl,
because they don't want it to affect their farmers. And you know what? I don't blame them, but we're doing the same thing right now, starting about midnight tonight, I would say.
I like butter pecan. So
And China charges
I eat any
American
kind of
rice
ice cream
farmers an
except that damn
overquota,
mint
it's
shit.
called, a tariff rate of 65%. South Korea charges
Jennifer said, "Tell you happy
50.
birthday, Admiral."
Actually, they charge different. From
She's over on the
50%
YouTube
to
side.
513%. In Japan, our friend charges us 700%. But that's because they don't want us selling rice and other thing. Who can blame them, Madam Secretary? Agriculture, great job you did on eggs, by the way. The egg prices came down 50%. You got them down 50% once we got involved. They were going through the sky. The egg prices, they were going through the sky, and you did a fantastic job.
You need to go over there and do a thumbs up. Y'all need to go. All of y'all need to go over and do a thumbs up on the YouTube side.
And they're going down further. We charge 2.8% for so many things that other countries are charging 200%, 300%, and 400% for. If imposing tariffs and protective barriers made nations poor, then every country on earth would be racing to eliminate these policies, and China would be the first on line. They run a very strong country, but they're not first in line, and the American people are paying a very big price. From 1789 to 1913, we were a tariff-backed nation, and the United States was proportionately the wealthiest it has ever been. So wealthy, in fact, that in the 1880s, they established a commission to decide what they were going to do with the vast sums of money they were collecting. We were collecting so much money so fast, we didn't know what to do with it.
Frank, y'all go to the YouTube side, click the thumbs up.
What do you
Danielle!
think, Marco, good problem? Marco would love that problem. But we don't have that problem anymore, but we're not going to have it very much longer, I will tell you. But they collected so much money, they actually formed a commission to determine what they were going to do with the money, who they were going to give it to, and how much. Then in 1913, for reasons unknown,
no matter how many's over here, just go over and click the thumbs up.
The income tax, so that citizens
leave a comment
in foreign countries would start paying the money necessary to run our government. Then in 1929, it all came to a very abrupt end with the Great Depression, and it would have never happened if they had stayed with the tariff policy. It would have been a much different story. They tried to bring back tariffs to save our country, but it was gone. It was gone.
I'm going to have to bring that refrigerator over here into here.
Been done. Took years and years to get out of that depression. Far longer than even FDR had that office right over there for a long period of time. The ramp system, that's rather intricate, was built because of him, and every time you walk up, you think of him, and he did a great job in many ways, but it lasted long beyond his terms, as you know. But it's not too late any longer, and we're going to start being smart, and we're going to start being very wealthy again.
She needs an ass whooping is what she needs on her birthday. She needs a good old ass whooping, and then one to grow on.
As a country, because they've taken so much of our wealth away from us. We're not going to let that happen.
Thank you, Jennifer.
We truly can be very wealthy. We can be so much wealthier than any country. It's not even believable, but we're getting smart. Nearly a century later, in the face of unrelenting economic warfare, the United States can no longer continue with a policy of unilateral economic surrender. We cannot pay the deficits of Canada, Mexico, and so many other countries. We used to do it. We can't do it anymore. We take care of countries all over the world. We pay for their military. We pay for everything they have to pay. And then when you want to cut back a little bit, they get upset that you're not taking care of our people. And we're going to take care of our people first. And I'm sorry to say that. And today we're standing up for the American worker, and we are finally putting America first. In Sleepy Joe Biden's last year in office, the United States hemorrhaged 100,000 manufacturing jobs, and the number was going through the roof at levels never seen before. And our trade deficit reached a record $1.2 trillion, which is unheard of. Since the beginning of NAFTA, the worst trade deal ever made, it was a horror show. I was able to terminate it. They all said you'd never be able to get it out. We had to get approval from Congress to get it terminated. We had to live with that deal. It was the worst deal, worst trade deal ever made by far. But since the very beginning of NAFTA, our country lost 90,000 factories. Think of what that is, 90,000. Think about putting a map up and putting tax on it. You wouldn't have enough room. 90,000. I said, is that possible? We had it checked 4 different times, and it was actually somewhat higher than that. And 5 million manufacturing jobs were lost while racking up trade deficits of $19 trillion. That was the worst trade deal ever made. As a result of these gigantic losses, foreign nations now own $26 trillion more of American assets than American. Think of this, than the assets or other foreign assets. The United States can no longer produce enough antibiotics to treat our sick.
You can find me on YouTube. Just look
we have
around.
a tremendous problem. We have to
Chapman.
go to foreign countries to treat our sick. If anything ever happened,
Chapman. Hello. I'm gonna hang up the phone on you. 1. I didn't even count to 3.
from a war standpoint, we
What
wouldn't
channel
be
is it
able
over
to
on
do it.
YouTube?
We import virtually all of our computers, phones, televisions, and electronics. We used to dominate the field, and now we import it all from different countries. A single shipyard in China now produces more ships every year than all of the American shipyards combined. Think of that. And it was a business that we used to dominate. We used to dominate it totally.
Oh, Kimmer's on vacation?
Electronic trade deficits
Are they
no
running
longer
replays?
merely an economic problem. They're a national emergency that threatens
Jamie, do you ever run replays? No, we're always live. Always live.
security.
Now, you can go back and watch the videos if you want to. We got a plethora of them out there.
And our very way of life. It's a very great threat to our country. And for these reasons,
Jody,
starting tomorrow, the
help him
United
get that
States
trailer
will
finished.
implement reciprocal tariffs on other nations. It's been a long time since we even thought of that. We used to think about it a lot. We didn't think about it for many decades, and you see what's happened. For nations that treat us badly, we will calculate the combined rate of all their tariffs, non-monetary barriers, and other forms of cheating. And because we are being very kind, we're kind people, very kind. You're not so kind when you got ripped off with your salaries. My auto worker friends and my Teamster friends and all of the unions that typically voted Democrat, they're not voting Democrat anymore because worker, whether union or non-worker, they're for the Republicans now. That's what happened. But we will charge them approximately half of what they are and
Chapman
have been
Gaming
charging
Channel?
us. So the tariffs will be not
so they said
a
it's
full
Chapman Gaming Channel.
reciprocal. I could have done that, yes, but it would have been tough
Thank you,
for a
Jim.
lot of countries who didn't want to do that. I'd like to see the chart if you have it. Could you bring it up, Howard? This is our great Secretary of Commerce, Howard Lutnick. Thanks. So, if you look at that, China, first row, China, 67%. That's tariffs charged to the USA, including currency manipulation and trade barriers. So 67%, I think you can, for the most part, see it. Those with good eyes, with bad eyes. We didn't want to bring, it's very windy out here. We didn't want to bring out the big charts because it had no chance of standing. Fortunately, we came armed with a little smaller chart. So it's 67%, so we're going to be charging a discounted reciprocal tariff of 34%. I think, in other words, they charge us, we charge them less. So how can anybody be upset? They will be because we never charge anybody anything, but now we're going to charge. European Union, they're very tough, very, very tough traders. You know, you think of European Union, very
Chapman
friendly,
Gaming
they
Channel.
rip us off. It's so sad to see. It's so pathetic. 39%, we're going to charge them 20%, so we're charging them essentially half. Vietnam, great negotiators, great people. They like me, I like them. The problem is they charge us 90%. We're going to charge them 46% tariff. Taiwan, where they took all of our computer chips and semiconductors. We used to be the king, right? We were everything. We had all of it. Now we have almost none of it, except the biggest company is coming in. We're going to end up with almost 40.
We bought a damn gun for the welding machine, a new gun for the welding machine for the wire. They give me a clock, a Miller clock. Looks pretty cool. It's blue.
30%. Lee Zeldin's working to get their approvals, and it's an amazing company. Mr. Wei, of one of the great companies of the world, actually, they're coming in from Taiwan, and they're going to build one of the biggest
knows what
plants
that
in the world,
means.
maybe the biggest for that. But 64%, we're going to charge them 32%. Japan, very, very tough. Great people. And again, I don't blame the people for doing it. I think they're very smart in doing it. I blame the people that sat right in that Oval Office, right over there, right behind the Resolute desk or whichever desk they chose. Japan, 46%. They would charge us 46%, and much higher for certain items like cars, little items like cars. 46%, we're charging them 24%. India, very, very tough, very, very tough. The Prime Minister just left, and he's a great friend of mine, but I said, you're a friend of mine, but you're not treating us right. They charge us 52%. You have to understand, we charge them almost nothing for years and years and decades, and it was only 7 years ago when I came in, we started with China and charged them. We took in hundreds of billions of dollars from China in tariffs, and they understood, honestly. President Xi understood. He said, look, I understand, and the other countries, and they all understand. We're going to have to go through a little tough love, maybe, but they all understand. They're ripping us off, and they understood it. Prime Minister of Japan, Shinzo Abe. He was a fantastic man. He was unfortunately taken from us, assassination. But I went to him and I said,
So they wouldn't go
Shinzo,
with the jab.
we have to do something. Trade is not fair. And he said, I know that. I know that. And
do
he
it
was a
on
great
Facebook.
gentleman. He was a fantastic man, but he understood immediately what I was talking about. I said, Shinzo, we have to do something. He said, I know that. And we worked out a deal, and it would have been a much better deal, but frankly, there were many years left on the deal that was made previous to my getting there, but it was something. If you look at Switzerland, 61% to 31%. Indonesia, Malaysia, Cambodia. Oh, look at Cambodia, 97%. We're going to bring it down to 49. They made a fortune with the United States of America. United Kingdom, 10%, and we'll go 10%. So we'll do the same thing. South Africa, 60%, 30%, and they've got some bad things going on in South Africa. You know,
Yeah, they're
we're
killing
paying
white
them
people.
billions of dollars, and we cut the funding because a lot of bad things are happening in South Africa. The fake news ought to be looking at it. They don't want to report it. Brazil, 10%, 10%. Bangladesh is 74%. So you see what's going on. Pakistan, 58%. Sri Lanka, 88%. So what we're doing is we're taking not the full, we could take the full 88%. Thanks a lot. He's doing a very good job. How's he doing, all right? I think you better take it with you. It's not going to last very long. He's going to put it, it's going to follow you down with the wind. I brought a hat just in case it got too windy, but here, would anybody like a hat?
I'll take
I'm
one.
I'm not giving it to a cabinet. I'm giving it to the auto workers. Come here. Thank you, fellas. Get it. That's it. That's it. They deserve it more than our cabinet. Our cabinet has plenty of hats. But you see the numbers. The numbers are so disproportionate. They're so unfair. At the same time, we will
This is the
establish a
balance.
minimum baseline tariff of 10%. You notice that on the
Thank you,
chart.
sir.
And that'll be on other countries to help
Patriots
rebuild
and
our
farmers, thank you.
economy and to prevent cheating. So we're going to
We're over
have a
on
minimum
YouTube, too.
of cheating, and we're going to be very severe on the people that
Kick.com.
at the gate that
Kick.com.
watch the tariffs and watch the product coming in, because there's been a lot of bad things happening at the gate because the money is so enormous that you're talking about. There's never been probably anything like it in terms of the enormity, and there are a lot of bad things happen at the people that do the check-in, and they're looking at 10-year jail sentences if they do. Well, we're going to treat them so good, but if they cheat, the repercussions are going to be extremely strong. Foreign nations will finally be asked to pay for the privilege of access to our market, the biggest market in the world. We're right now the biggest market in the world. We had a great country 4 years ago in terms of the economics. We were double. Well, nobody was going to catch us, but so much of it slipped away over the last 4 years under Biden. I campaigned on this policy throughout last year, and today that promise was made, and it was also a promise, as you know, that was kept. Promises made, promises kept. To any company that objects to our common sense reciprocal tariffs, again, reciprocal, back and forth, and I call this kind reciprocal. This is not full reciprocal. This is kind reciprocal. But what we do is we cut it in half. We charge them. My answer is very simple. If they complain, if you want your tariff rate to be zero, then you build your product right here in America, because there is no tariff if you build your product in America. And we've seen companies coming in like we've never seen before. Likewise to all of the foreign presidents, prime ministers, kings, queens, ambassadors, and everyone else who will soon be calling to ask for exemptions from these tariffs. I say, terminate your own tariffs, drop your barriers, don't manipulate your currencies. They manipulate their currencies like you even believe, which is a bad, bad thing and very devastating to us. And start buying tens of billions of dollars of American goods. Tariffs give our country protection against those that would do us economic harm. Many people were looking to do us economic harm. Maybe not so obviously, but they were doing tremendous economic harm. But even more importantly, they will give us growth. These tariffs are going to give us growth like you haven't seen before. And it'll be something very special to watch. I am so looking forward, and Brian, it's going to happen even faster than you said. You know, you might say, but it's already started. It's already started. Work's already begun on plants all around the country, and you see that it's before. These are big, rich companies. We have $61 billion started on a big plant going up. It's going to be announced over the next 2 days, and they already started work. Many of these the biggest companies in the world, they've committed to build. We're going to build, sir. And they came here to see me, and wanted to know if they could have a press conference. I do as many as I can. I'm pretty busy trying to stop Russia and Ukraine and the Middle East. We got to stop that. We got to stop the Houthis, which we're making tremendous. They like shooting ships down and out of the water, sinking ships. They get a kick out of it, but they're not getting such a kick out of it now, are they, Mr. Secretary? They're not getting such a kick out of that now. But here are just a short list of some of the companies that have already announced and committed to investment. And this is a company that built its factories and its plants in China. Apple is going to spend $500 billion. They never spent money like that here. They're going to build their plants
gold
here.
And brown, crispy,
SoftBank,
crunchy.
OpenAI, and Oracle, great companies, are investing $500 billion almost immediately.
Like
NVIDIA, a hot company, is investing.
Like they do at Longhorn, and blooming onion. That's at Outback. That thing is, you just split it, fry the whole thing.
Hundreds of billions of dollars. They just announced TSMC, the biggest, most important company in the world of chips from Taiwan, with no investment from us, is investing $200 billion. And they said the reason was, number one, the election of November 5th, and number two, the tariffs. They don't want to pay the tariffs, and the way they're not paying it is to build their plant here. So we're going to go from almost no percentage. We used to have 100% of the chip market. Now it's all in Taiwan. Almost all of it's in Taiwan. A couple of other countries, but mostly in Taiwan. And think of it. We had 100%. We lost it because of people in that office that didn't do their job. They allowed it to be stolen from us. Johnson & Johnson, great company, $55 billion. Eli Lilly, $27 billion. Meta is investing $500 billion. Wow. DeMac is investing $20 billion. CMA, CGM, $20 billion. And then you have Merck and Clarios, Stellantis, General Motors, GE Aerospace, Honda, Nissan, Hyundai are all putting in billions and billions of dollars, and they're committed 100%. And we've never had, and this is after 2.5 months. This is after just a short, this all took place as soon as we came out with what everybody wanted to do. You know, I watched a gentleman today television used to work with Lee Iacocca, a very respected automobile person, and he said, you know, because they're asking people, they try and get as many negative people as they can, but they can't find them too much. It's pretty hard to find in terms of what we're doing, especially when they see all this investment. They said, so tell me, what do you think of what Trump is doing from the automobile standpoint? He said, I can't believe it. Somebody is finally, he's an older guy, real pro.
Ross doing a jar
really
of peanut
top
butter.
Guy with Lee Iacocca. He said, I never thought I'd see the day when this would
He's
happen.
always hungry.
Where somebody had the courage to go and do what has to be done. This is transforming our nation. Our entire nation is going to be transformed, not only with the cars, but on every single other item that's built. We're going to become an industrial powerhouse. And he said that so beautifully today. In fact, I'm going to find out, I'm going to get a tape. And Bruce, I'm going to get that tape and I'm going to send it to you out in Long Island, and you're going to play it for the people. And all your union workers and your non-union workers out there, you got a pretty even split. But we have, so far, it looks like we're going to have about $6 trillion of investments, and you wouldn't do that in years in this country over the last number of years. $6 trillion, and that's going to be much higher by the end of the year. And think of what $6 trillion is. You wouldn't have even a small percentage of that under this other system. We're going to be an entirely different country, and it's going to be fantastic for the workers. It's going to be fantastic for everyone. There will never have been a transformation of a country like the transformation that's already happening in the United States of America. It's an incredible thing to watch, and it's incredible to meet with the top people, people that you read about, very wealthy people, or people that are great managers and executives and presidents of big public companies, and to watch the enthusiasm they have now that they didn't have. They gave up on our country. They went to foreign countries and they built. Companies are pouring into our country at levels never seen before, with jobs and money to follow, and it's really beautiful. In the coming days, there will be complaints from the globalists and the outsourcers and special interests and the fake news. Always, the fake news will always complain. But never forget, our trade for the last 30 years has been proven totally wrong. They were wrong about NAFTA. They were wrong about China. They were wrong about the Trans-Pacific Partnership, which would have been a disaster if I didn't terminate it. If I didn't terminate that, United Auto Workers, you would have had no jobs in this country. You would have had no jobs. It was all going to other countries. In my first term, they said tariffs would crash the economy. Instead, we built the greatest economy in the history of the world. And again, I have great respect for President Xi of China, great respect for China, but they were taking tremendous advantage of us, and I commend them for that. I say, hey, if you can get away with it, that's okay. But you know, they understand exactly what's happening, and they probably, most of them are saying it's about time they did something. But and they're going to fight. And they're going to fight fair. Everyone's going to fight.
It'd be a great light if you're stuck in a cave somewhere, and there ain't no light in there. You're way back in there, and you can't find your way out. Somebody would kill for this flashlight.
I say to the leaders, look, you got to take care of your country, but we have to start taking care of our country now. We can't do what we've been doing for the last 50 years. From the day of my election, the stock market went up in my first term 88%, with NASDAQ going up 155%, more than any president has ever had in any term in office, by far. And I think we're going to blow that away, and maybe the numbers won't show, but I think they're going to show much better than even those numbers. But what you're going to see is you're going to see activity, that empty, dead sites, factories that are falling down. Those factories will be knocked down, and they're going to have brand new factories built in their place. They're not only talking about renovating, they're talking about brand new, the best anywhere in the world, the biggest anywhere in the world. I have a friend who builds car plants, and I said, I want to see the biggest and the best. He said, well, we have to go to Mexico. I said, no, I want to see it in the United States. He said, we're not building them in there. This is a year and a half ago during the campaign. He said, we're not building it. You'd have to go to Mexico. When I was starting to decide to run, and I went to number one in the polls very rapidly, I want to say, let's say in the first hour, and then shortly thereafter, it looked like I was going to win, and the fake news was saying, oh, no, don't do this. What they don't know is if I didn't win, they would have really been in trouble. because nobody wants to read them anyway. But I tell you what, when it doing exactly what we're talking about today. Great consistency, actually, because I've been talking about it for 40 years. But because I saw what was happening 40 years ago. If you look at my old speeches when I was young, very handsome, my old speeches, and that people would say, I'd be on a television show, I'd be talking about how we were being ripped off by these countries. I mean, nothing changes very much. The only thing that changed were the countries, but nothing really changes. But it's why it's such an honor. It's such an honor to be finally able to do this. If you look at China, I took in hundreds of billions of dollars in my term, hundreds of billions. They never paid 10 cents to any other president, and yet they paid hundreds of billions, so much so that Biden couldn't do anything. They wanted to try and terminate it because he had a very special relationship with China. You know what the relationship was? He had a special relationship. But the numbers were so big, that they couldn't do it. So they did ease it up. They did things that they shouldn't have done. They made it a lot more comfortable for them, but they couldn't do it because the numbers were hundreds of billions of dollars, and I did that. And we were on our way to doing something like incredible. And then we had a very bad election happen, a lot of bad things happened. So when I said we got to do it again, I said we have to make it too big to rig, and we made it too big to rig, and we won in records, and it was a monumental win. And it was such an honor to see so many of you, like Brian and your friends, here with us to celebrate, and to more importantly celebrate what we're doing, because that wouldn't be a full celebration if we didn't do this, because this will be an entirely different country in a short period of time. It'll be something the whole world will be talking about it. The critics made the very tired predictions earlier this year, but in February, core inflation dropped to the lowest rate in 4 years. And the price of eggs, as you know, just in a month and a half, we were there for 4 weeks. And the first week, I got blamed for eggs. I said, I just got here. They said eggs have gone up at like 250%, and you can't get eggs. And they were going crazy. And I said, I just got here. And then we got to work on eggs, and we got to work on everything. And our great Secretary of Agriculture, you did a fantastic job. Brooke Rollins, she did a fantastic job. And as I said before, the price of eggs dropped now 59%, and they're going down more, and the availability is fantastic. They were saying that for Easter, please don't use eggs. Could you use plastic eggs? I said, we don't want to do that. We want to, and you really came through. It's an amazing job. Thank you very much, Brooke. You did great. But likewise, an old-fashioned term that we use, groceries. I used it in the campaign. It's such an old-fashioned term, but a beautiful term. Gross egg with different things in it. Groceries went through the roof, and I campaigned on that. I talked about the word groceries for a lot, and energy costs now are down. Groceries are down. Gas beginning to be able to buy things and live again. We brought prices way down. We created 10,000 already in a few weeks, new manufacturing jobs. And it was that took place in 1 month, numbers that they haven't seen in a long time. We had virtually no inflation under my term. We had virtually no inflation for 4 years, but after transitioning over to Sleepy Joe, it went from almost non-existent to the highest in the history of our country. We had the highest inflation in the history of our country, brought up by energy and bad policy, and a lot of bad things happened. How about allowing millions and millions and millions of people to pour into our country with open borders, where it's so sad to see even now. And I see our great secretary you have done. Stand up, please, Christy. Stand up. Christy Noem and Tom Holman. These people are doing a great job, but gotten them out in records. We have problems with judges that don't want them to go out. They want Tren de Aragua, and they want MS-13, the most vicious gangs ever. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. Absolute killer gangs. They kill people. They don't even think about it. And we put them out, and we have judges now, radical left judges that want to They don't want them to go out. They want them to even be brought back. Let's bring them back. You've done a fantastic job, and please thank everybody. Homeland Security, thank everybody. Appreciate it. And we now have a border that's the best border that we've ever had. Better than it was my first term. My first term, this one we really specialized in. We've done really well. And with the best, safest border. 4 years ago, we had the best. We actually matched.
Let me just refresh.
Get it down the right way. And we want people, by the way, to come into our country, but we want to come in through a legal process. And legally, we need more people. We need people to run these plants and to help the auto workers and the Teamsters and the non-union people and everybody else. But we need people and the farmers. And we're going to let people come in, but they want to come in. We want them to come in legally. They have to have the capability of loving our country, not people that hate our country. And now we're going to pass the largest tax cut in history, and that's where we're relying on Mike and John Thune. And we will not cut Social Security, Medicare, or Medicaid benefits, and the Democrats will, because if they got in, the entire economy would collapse. This country was heading for a collapse under the people that you saw. They were horrible. I think one of the reasons people like the job, I have my highest approval ratings because I think they're comparing me to the worst administration in the history of our country, so I appreciate that at least. But Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, and Senate Majority Leader, appreciate it, Mike. John Thune have been fantastic, by the way. But they've been working tirelessly on taking the next step to pass the plan for our one big, beautiful bill. I'd like to name it that if you can. One big, beautiful. I made that statement about 6 months ago, and everybody calls it one big, beautiful bill. And it will be that. It'll have everything, the big cuts and every incentive there is. And it'll be fantastic. And by the way, for the cars, we're asking for an interest deduction on a loan. So if you build the car, only in America we do it, Brian. If the car's not built in America, you don't get the interest rate deduction. But if you build the car in America, if you buy a car, if it's built in America, then you get an interest rate
go over there to the
deduction, tax deduction, and that's a big thing. It's going to be a big thing. I think that's going to pay for itself very quickly, that deduction. Never happened. We've never had anything like that before. Somebody said, where do you get the idea? Because it's so basic, you would think.
Still 266 over there.
That would have happened a long time ago.
It needs to come on down.
It never did, and I'm very happy it didn't, because now I can say that was my idea. But we're going to get us closer to the debt extension. We have to get the
bitch Pam Bondi start locking up some people.
Debt extension passed, and I know you're going to be able to do that, Mike, and it's very important that you do that. And all of the other things that the Senate budget plan gives us, along with working, because I know they're working together, John and Mike, and the two bills are going very well together. We need to get our shared priorities done, including certain permanent tax cuts. We want the tax cuts to be permanent, spending cuts, energy and historic investments in defense, border, and so much more. We're covering everything. These will be phenomenal. There'll be no bill like this going to straighten. One bill is going to straighten out our country for many, many years to come. And we said, let's just do it and let's get it done. And some guys will love it, and some guys will like it a little bit less because they're not getting what they were exactly looking for, but they're getting a lot. They'll never, if we get this done, it'll be the most incredible bill ever passed in the history of our Congress and Senate and congressmen, the senators and the congressmen, many of whom are here today, will be very proud of themselves. I really believe that. It's going to set us on a whole new prosperous path. We're going to cut spending and right-size the budget back to where it should be. We're going to do that very strongly. Thank you, Rick. Thank you. John, thank you. Oh, look at all of our senators over there. Oh, boy. That's a nice group of people. But I won't like them so much if they don't get this bill done. That's a great group, and Congressman, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Tremendous people. The Senate plan has my complete and total support, and the House plan likewise is very similar. They're moving along pretty much at the same clip, and as soon as you're ready, you'll show it to me, and I'm sure it'll have my support, Mike. Every Republican congressman and senator must unify. We have to unify. We can't be separated. We have to get it done. We have to get absolutely everything we can, and we have to take care of the American people. That's the only thing that matters. We have to take care of the American people first. We need to pass this bill immediately, get it done, including debt extension. From this day on, we're not going to let anyone tell us that American workers and families cannot have the future that they deserve. We're going to produce the cars and ships, chips, airplanes, minerals, and medicines that we need right here in America. The pharmaceutical companies are going to become roaring back. They're coming roaring back. They're all coming back to our country, because if they don't, they got a big tax to pay. And if they do, I'll be very happy, and you're going to be very happy, and you're going to be very safe. We're going to build our future with American hands, with American heart, American steel, and we're going to build it with American pride like we used to. We're approaching our 100th day as president, and have been given credit by a lot of people, actually, even some of the fake news, can you believe it? Which in this case hopefully isn't fake, for having done more in that time than any other administration in the history of our country in the first 100 days. I think we've had an amazing, in terms of what we've done, what we've gotten accomplished. I'd like to see if we can get that war ended and another war from not starting in the Middle East. We have to get Russia. They're losing 2,000 on average, 2,500 people a day, young people, soldiers, Russian. Think of that, 2,500 through some days, but on average, probably over about a 1 week period, it's 2,712, they say. They're losing those soldiers. They're dying. They're being decimated. And they're not from our country, but they're from other countries. But they're human beings. They're from Russia. They're from Ukraine in this period, most of them. And we're going to get it stopped. It's a senseless war that would have never happened if I was president, and it shouldn't be allowed to go on. And I think we're being given good cooperation by Russia and by Ukraine, but we have to get it stopped. It's humanity. It's humanity. It's a terrible thing. This will be a very big moment. I think you're going to remember today. It's going to be a free nation that we're dealing with. We're going to have a very free and beautiful nation. It'll be Liberation Day in America, and it's going to be a day that hopefully you're going to...
Hang on.
Most. God bless you and God bless America. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Major new tariffs from Trump. Major tariffs announcement we just heard from President Trump. We need to talk about this. I will wait until he walks off. Major new tariffs announced by President Trump. Is he going to sign something here, or is he... I think he might do another appearance after this, maybe, or is he going to do the signing? Oh, look, they're going to have him sign it now.
With respect to imports from the People's Republic of China. The other is the big one, is the reciprocal tariff executive order that the president just spoke about at length. This is obviously a huge deal, and it's been an honor to be a part of your team getting this ready for you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you. This is big stuff.
He's signing it. We can't really see him, though. He's there. He is there. I'm hearing the pen. These are huge new tariffs.
That's a pen. It's a good one. Look. That's our good one.
Oh, on many countries, this was more than...
That's a good one.
On many countries, this was more than expected, these tariffs. I'm hearing the pen again.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to hand out these pens now, if I can.
Come on over. Yeah.
I want one of them pins.
Thank you, Governor.
Somebody missed a cord on that damn.
Get it done, Mike.
He's making his way off. All right. Wow. Major new tariffs announcement by President Trump. We got to talk about this. First of all, I want to apologize. I am in Lima, Peru right now. And so I'm bringing...
Urgent live weather.
So why do I need to step out of this vehicle?
Because there's a Supreme Court case ruling called Pennsylvania v. Mims that a law
Okay.
enforcement officer can give you a lawful directive to exit the vehicle.
Do you remember this one, the anabolic cop who pulled a passenger out of a car citing Pennsylvania versus Mims after this traffic stop was already over?
You have no probable cause for me to exit this vehicle, Officer Mail, and you know it. No, you don't. No, you don't.
Okay, well, I'm gonna drag you out then.
Hey, so if you want, if you, hey,
I'm gonna drag you out. Yep.
go ahead, drag me out.
I have a hell of an update for you. That criminal case is now over, and I was actually pretty shocked at the outcome. And yesterday I find out that that officer is no longer with that department. Did he resign? Was he fired? Did he just move? And now he's on leave from his new department. Why? Because he just got arrested. Don't believe me? Here's his mugshot.
If you guys think that I'm in the game of violating people's rights, you'd be wrong.
Okay.
Video
You just did. You just did, bitch. Thin blue line my ass. Some of y'all bootlickers out there. Coming to a trap. Teacher arrested for alleged inappropriate relationship with a student. We seen that yesterday. They locked her up. She was crying. You can't rape a guy. This is a good game right here. I used to like playing this game. How do you make it over? I'm dead. Eggs. I didn't know I could play that on here. Play it on my phone. So they caught Tesla bubblegum vandalizer. Y'all don't realize all these damn
What are you doing?
Start the vehicle. Back you rolling, man. Back.
What do you mean, why am I rolling?
Let me get your license, man.
Okay, well, I'm gonna hop out.
No, stay in the vehicle.
This guy pulled his gun on me and everything.
Put both hands on hold, please. All right, remain there. Do not move.
Will you shut this door?
All right, we're gonna hop out.
What are you doing?
Hop out.
For what?
It's an older truck, man.
So you just ripped my door open because it's an older truck?
People who roll have warrants.
I haven't rolled anything.
Hot all over their pants.
This is sawdust.
Put your hands up on the vehicle.
For what? What am I under
Put
arrest
your hands
for?
up on the
What am
vehicle.
I under arrest for?
I'm frisking you for weapons, Bubba.
So what's the reason for the search?
For your mud flaps, man, being too short.
So you ripped my door open and frisked all up and opened my truck up for my mud flaps for being too short?
People who roll have drugs.
I wasn't rolling.
Screw the police.
Are you involved in this in here?
Am I involved in what?
Yeah. I'm gonna have to have you not go anywhere.
What?
Come here.
Am I being detained?
Come here.
Am I being detained?
Yes, you are. Because if you're involved in this, yes, you are.
Am I being detained for what crime?
An investigation.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Go ahead and do your investigation, sir.
So, what are you doing here?
I would like an attorney, please.
You're not under arrest.
I would like an attorney, please.
Okay. Yeah. You don't have that right unless you get arrested.
That is a lie. You have the absolute right to ask for a lawyer at any time when a cop is questioning you. The fact that
You don't have to say shit.
Like they did it with Hillary Clinton, and nobody suffered any consequences.
Is it okay if I touch you during our consultation? Yes.
Do you mind if I touch you for your consultation?
Oh, no, go ahead.
Great.
Chapman. That's pretty good. I ain't ordered nothing from Amazon. Got thrown off a building.
Let me get that, bro. Let me get all that. Let me get all that.
Hey, fuck out of here.
No. Hey, man, let me get that before I beat your ass, bro.
You ain't going back in the store. Nobody's helping you, child predator. Nobody here to help you, child predator. Stay away from kids, David.
Armed robbery.
What you got in here?
Should have left while you had the chance, dumb fuck.
Dumpster, ain't no camera around there. There's a camera right above you.
No.
Let's go.
Take him around to the dumpster. He's trying to get this man killed.
Take him with you.
That's the child predator hucklebuckle.
No.
Give me that shit.
No.
Run
I'm
it.
finna fuck your ass.
No.
Hey, child predator, you might as well give it up.
Give me that shit, bro. Give me that shit before I fuck your ass up, bro. Give me that shit.
Bro, what are you doing? What are you doing?
What you do?
You got your keys.
Give me.
Give me that, bro. Give me
You
that.
got your keys. Give it up.
Give me that, bro. I'm telling you, bro. You already fucked up. Give me that.
I'm trying to help
Give me
you
that,
out
bro.
right now.
Bro, give me that shit. Give it to me, bro, before I fuck you up.
Please. I can't.
Give it to me.
It's like robbing.
Please,
Give it to me.
No. Listen me. Listen me. No. 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 No, I not do that.
Give me that shit. Hey, give me that shit.
What's it? What's it? What's it?
Give me that wallet, nigga.
Give me your wallet.
Oh, yeah.
Get it up.
I know.
For our team to observe the voting.
U.S. Attorney, the Chief Law Enforcement Official Pam Bondi, and Corey Lewandowski outside the Philadelphia Convention Center to vote county and facility of 2020 demanded entry. They had a warrant signed by a judge.
Process of media access. So our team of 15 people will be headed in right now to observe the vote counting process. This is very important because, as you know, they have kept us away 30 to 50 to 100 feet with a barricade. They had a guy in there wearing a badge who is not a sworn law enforcement officer, keeping people away. This is not a matter for the Secretary of State or Supervisor of Elections. The U.S. Constitution and the under the U.S. Constitution, the legislature has the right to make these laws which they have made, and the judge just confirmed that they must be followed. So we plan on entering that building right now and legally observing the voting process. Because if there's one illegal vote that is cast, it takes away from the great men and women of Pennsylvania who came out and issued a legal vote. So thank you very much. Corey Lewandowski.
Listen, guys, democracy dies in darkness. This is the opportunity to shed light on what's going on inside this building. Our observers are going to be 6 feet behind every person who's counting these votes in accordance with the COVID protocols. This is a win for every person who's cast a legal ballot in the state of Pennsylvania. We're going to go in here right now. We're going to start watching what's going on, not from 30 feet away, not from 100 feet away, from 6 feet away. This is a win, and what you will see is the Democrats are going to try and stop this from happening. They're going to appeal this decision because they don't want the American people to know what's going on in here. It's time to go in and put some light on what's happening. Thanks for being here, guys.
Whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, all these folks across the street, you should be allowed to observe and know what's happening with our voting process. That's why this is so important for all parties involved. Thank you. We're going to get our big
Go inside.
Voter ID in every state, only citizens can vote. Result must be reported on the same night. How to Live with a Huge Penis by Michelle Obama.
D'accord. Qui a amené cet enfant? Moi c'est Ophélia, enchanté.
Bonjour, monsieur.
Alors moi c'est pas
Hello,
monsieur, c'est
mister.
madame.
Thank you.
Monsieur.
Non.
Yeah, you ain't fooling nobody. We know you got a penis. You can't fool them kids.
Up tomorrow, which would block nationwide injunctions by district judges.
It don't do no good to call your damn congressmen or senators. They don't answer the damn phone.
Wing activists in the halls of the Senate office buildings yesterday what I really thought. A clown is a clown who's chasing senators through the halls with a cell phone, complaining about losing a left-wing woke job in the federal government that should have never been a job to begin with. I won't back down. I won't apologize for it. I support President Trump and the Doge effort 100% to cut wasteful spending and woke jobs out of the federal government.
Stop doing your hand signals there, pussy.
The Democrats and the left.
A turning point in this personal journey of mine occurred when I received an email from a Zionist organization offering me $5,000 to pledge my support for Israel on live stream. This came a few days after October 7th. And also after I had posted a single video, I think this is one of my first videos about Palestine, comparing the parallels between American colonization and that of historic Palestine in my account. This is my first direct encounter with the Israeli propaganda machine, and it was an offer to trade truth for money. I was disgusted. My morals are not for sale. I grappled with the fear of speaking out. The headlines that day were filled with stories of the Harvard students being blacklisted, doxxed. They had, I believe, a truck with the students' faces and names and, I believe, addresses going around campus, and Wall Street execs were going onto the media in the United States saying,
Man, don't be busting up in here like that.
And all because they
What are you doing? You rolling back?
in support of Palestine. And
You
this is
through
what
yet?
I've seen.
I got the.
And I was asking myself,
what
what if the same would have happened to me if I spoke?
And then that'll be done.
It ain't gonna be done. It ain't gonna be done in
I
time.
couldn't find it.
It ain't gonna be done in time. I thought Jody was helping you. Jody ain't helping you? Alright. Because he told me he was cutting shit for you. You got some of the water over in the shower? Got some in there in the toilet.
hidden talent?
People say I'm gonna do an accent.
What accents can you do?
I can do a few different accents, bro.
Jody, come on in here for a minute. I'm in the office. You ain't helping. Stop lying, man. You did say it. We got it on video.
I did not say that.
Hurry up, Jody. You did say that. Was he over there cutting for you?
I didn't say nothing.
You said no. You shook your head no.
I didn't say nothing.
Is he cutting for you? Is he cutting for you?
King of the wild frontier.
Jody, button your damn shirt up.
Damn, Jamie.
Damn nothing. I told you to go over there and help him with that.
I did. I got the metal cut out. I'm waiting for him to fucking finish with the plasma cutter.
Is he cutting for you?
Yeah. I ain't cutting nothing, Jamie. I have not cut nothing. I got the piece marked out. He cut the last piece.
You gonna sit here and lie to me?
Jamie, he cut the last fucking piece. I got the piece ready to cut. I've already measured it.
Let's go then. Get the damn thing done.
God dang.
Hey, he told me you ain't doing nothing over there.
I did not say that.
I asked you, was he cutting, and you shook your head no.
I did not do
I'm
that.
not. I ain't cut. He's not lying. I ain't cut shit.
Hey, but I'm ready for that 5 foot piece.
All right, then. I need the plasma cutter.
Let's go then. It's right over there. The plasma cutter's over there. It ain't in his pocket.
I didn't say that, no.
You did say that. And you finna piss me off with lying. He is lying. You finna piss me off lying to me like that, man. That's bullshit.
I don't lie.
I just asked you, was he cutting for you, and you told me no.
Y'all shouldn't do that to me.
Shouldn't do what? Do you? Somebody that pays you shouldn't ask you questions?
Yeah.
Okay, so, and you gonna lie to me?
No.
Check this out. Get your money from him Friday. Well, you done got paid for this week. Yeah. Next week, get it from him. Play that bullshit, man. That's fucking finna piss me off.
I'm not gonna do that.
You just did.
I did not. You can't put me in between you.
If I ask you if he's cutting for you and you shake your head no, that's telling me no, he's not cutting for you. Like I said, your homeboy, hook up with your homeboy, let him pay you next week.
I'm one at a time. I do.
Well, get it from him. I asked you a fucking question, I want to answer.
Thing that's out there in the world gets the response from him, but he's also just the best to ever do it at talking into a microphone. So, like, that's like I think the most sophisticated way of like going about it. I gotta probably get better at that. But like my initial reaction is going.
So you don't lie?
Like I'll tell you what you want to know what my
initial
initial reaction is, which I think is kind of unfair. But my initial reaction was when I saw you guys talking about it, and I was like, okay, he wants to protect black women, and this is very important. And then I looked on every one of the episodes that you had to see if there was any guys on here that beat up black women. And there were. And I looked to see if you guys addressed it on the pod. And you didn't. Okay. Now, I also saw you guys had the episode with DeAndre's mom talking about domestic violence. So I was like, okay, this is good and this is powerful, this is important. But my knee-jerk reaction was, man, I get a whole section that's not even part of an episode. And these guys who we know have actually, like, for like a joke, and these guys who have actually like hurt black women and convicted, not allegations. I don't go off of allegations. I go off of conviction. Everybody can get an allegation. It means nothing. And then these guys, they don't get anything. So in that moment, I was like, this feels like a clout play. It doesn't feel like the highest priority is protecting these women. So that was my initial reaction.
So I'm gonna say this.
Yeah.
We have had people on this show that have been convicted for domestic violence that have pulled it out of the show.
That pulled it out of the show.
That I have asked about it.
Oh, and then they're like, I don't want it on the show.
Yeah, and I do, because people come on our show voluntarily. Of course. I do ask those questions in respectful ways. Right, I'm not, hey man, you're a woman beater, but I will say, like, in one of the instances that was pulled, I said, look, you know, you were convicted of something that no man wants attached to his name.
Amen.
And they answered it. We talked to their people. I was like, man, the answer was good. Like,
ワンキーボードは指一本で弾ける。全く弾けない人も弾ける。ワンキー。歌詞をワンキーボード。
Chapman. Cotton flower bouquet.
Cristiano, my friend.
Why did you give me cotton?
Yeah.
W give, chat.
It's my love. It's my love.
W give. Bro, y'all be gifting me anything in China, bro. I'm not gonna cap.
Thank you.
What's that?
Nice.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Just so you know before. סמי.
לק של היום.
זה המלך של היום, שאלה טובה. אני חושבת שזה הפלסטינאים.
כן?
כן, הם אויבים שלנו. אנחנו, כמה שניסינו לבוא לקראתם, לתת להם, לתת שטחים, לתת להם שלום.
מי זה עמלק היום?
כל מי שמצר לישראל, אני חושב. לאורך כל הדורות היה מלא אנשים שניסו לעשות רע לעם ישראל, שבעצם הבנים של הקדוש ברוך הוא. וההתגלמות של היום זה, אני רואה את זה בתור איראן או פלסטינים.
I think Owen Benjamin
your speech and or the events of yesterday.
Our newly released CIA files reveal the government may have discovered where the Ark of the Covenant is. The documents renewing the request
they found the Ark of the Covenant.
find the mysterious religious artifact. Lauren Green, you know I love this story. She is live with details.
CIA documents said they found it. Hillary Clinton was looking for it when she was over there.
CIA documents, and they've ignited a social media storm.
Just CIA docs, Ark of the Covenant found in the Middle East.
The most mysterious religious artifact.
The Ark of the Covenant, that's what they carried in front of the tribes of Judea. Can't nobody beat nobody. Can't nobody beat God's stuff. Trump's got one down in Mar-a-Lago. A replica of, they say it's the real Ark. It describes it in the Bible what it is.
On December 5th, 1988, a person called Remote Viewer Number 32
described in the Bible.
Trading Target 0209, aka the Ark of the Covenant.
20th century, America was the richest country on earth, and we defended our workers from unfair trade policies with tariffs. And we only made money. We had no income tax. All we did is charge other countries and foreign companies, if they wanted to sell to America, you had to pay for entry. Okay, so imagine this. The US government had no income tax. Americans got to keep all their hard-earned money, and foreigners paid the price. So now, what's happened? We have the Internal Revenue Service. That means charge us internally. Now imagine politicians who can't even balance their own checkbook, taking our money, and what do every year? Let's just take more, let's just take more, let's just take more. So this is how Donald Trump is going to end it and fix it. Last week, he announced that we're going to return America to greatness by creating, and today is its birthday, the External Revenue Service. So if you're always wondering, is some bureaucrat going to cut your benefits? Not under Donald Trump. Not under Donald Trump. It means foreign companies are going to pay if they want to come and sell products to the wealthiest country on earth. And if they want to compete with American workers, then let's just not tax our American workers.
How is it going to affect change?
It costs 3 cents to make a penny.
I know that, but how's it going to affect change? And the next penny, next point over the nickel.
You ain't gonna be able to put it in no drink machine.
Never could put pennies in a drink machine.
You could. Yeah. You don't,
What the fuck are you talking about?
I had a threesome a couple of days ago, and it was great.
What the fuck are you talking about?
You heard me.
So you're coming out of.
I think that medicine got you hallucinating or talking out your mind or something.
I know what I'm talking about. You just stupid. That's why I love you, because you stupid. You believe anything I say. I done cheated on you so many times.
So many times, huh? So let me ask you this.
He's telling them.
Last night when you said you was going to work, where was you at?
I was at my baby mama's house. I got a baby on the way.
I don't have no, I'm not pregnant.
Anybody talking about you, stupid? I got my side piece pregnant. I'm gonna be a daddy.
Don't worry. We'll be back.
I had a threesome a couple of days ago.
Humpty Dumpty.
Workplace misconduct. Humpty Dumpty discovers workplace misconduct by Brad Goss. Humpty Dumpty started a new job. Why is Humpty Dumpty so fucking scary? Humpty Dumpty shows coworkers his knob. Kelly, there's a snake in my pants. He makes jokes about sexual orientation. This rainbow graph is going to make us turn gay. This guy's like, I know, right? An email to coworker with the subject, oral fixation. He doesn't understand inappropriate touch. Sandy, you have a firm ass. She's like, well, why, thank you. His secret Santa gifts are way too much. You guys aren't any fun. Okay, if we're being honest here, and probably not at all surprised, I am the person who always shows up with the vibrator as the white elephant gift, okay? He's always suggesting awkward things. We need team building exercise ideas. Massage Monday, Tickle Tuesday, Whip Wednesday, and Thirsty Thursday. And gives people nicknames that really sting. We're going to call her Camel Toe Carrie. He forwards emails that always offend. Watch how this lady handles his horse. Always demanding hugs that never seem to end. Bring it in. Come on, don't leave me hanging. He makes offensive stereotypes when it comes to gender. When he gets in trouble, he says he didn't mean to offend her. His workplace activities are sexually inspired. Massage Monday, grab a partner. God, he's so scary. And that's why Humpty Dumpty always gets fired.
Hold on a minute. Let me see if we got any of your friends over here. Where's Bubbles at? What's up? Meat stick? Meat stick? Man, they're in here for you. Y'all give a shout out to Stewart.
Republicans do not respect the Constitution. They do not believe in the rule of law. They do not recognize the will of the people. Trump and the extreme MAGA Republicans quote a clear and present danger. MAGA forces are determined
I'm finna be getting off.
to take this country back.
As threats to democracy and as enemies of the state. You're all enemies of the state. He's an enemy of the state. You want to know the truth? The enemy of the state is him and the group that control him.
buckle up for this. I'm just going to read very mainstream sources, and I'm going to let you fill in the blanks. And don't worry, it won't be hard to do. So in case we're not clear, we're talking about the UFC, the biggest mixed martial arts fighting promotion in the world. They are owned by TKO Group Holdings, which is owned by Endeavor Group Holdings. And the CEO of TKO Group is Ari Emanuel. And he is also the CEO of Endeavor, the bigger company, along with Patrick Whitesell, the executive chairman. But I guess his name is probably pronounced Ari Emanuel because it's Jewish, not Mexican. His father, Jerusalem-born Benjamin Emanuel, was a pediatrician who was in the...
Thought it was the Lazar brothers.
Boys, this is women's.
Locking women in there. Worst job, he's got the roaches crawling all over him. He's down in the damn sewer. You don't see no women doing them jobs. He should have a mask on because he's going to get a turd in his mouth. White unity. All right there, people. I appreciate y'all hanging out over here, staying with us for a little while. We got 5 in here. 5 hardcore people out there. Happy birthday, Fox. Happy birthday, Fox. We will see y'all when we're going to see them, Jamie. We'll see them later. Juicy Roo.
Saint Nick with a wrench in hand, fixing up his big old ride. Semi-truck, not sleigh this year, needs to make it home by night. Carols playing on the radio, snowflakes fall within the light. Santa breathing heavy sighs, knows he's got to make it right. Santa's working on the double, grease and sweat mixed in his beard. Hopes to beat the midnight hour, home with family so revered. Reindeer resting
is national security. But you have a hard road ahead of you, as you and I discussed before. General Milley modeled inappropriate and political behavior to a whole generation of officers. And it's why I fully support President Trump's decision to relieve General C.Q. Brown and the unconventional decision to go beyond the usual 4-star choices and pick an outsider like you for this most important role. You spent much of your military career outside of Washington, D.C., not exclusively inside of the Pentagon, and because of this, you have a much better understanding of what's important to our warfighters and to the average American.
Reindeer resting in the barn, elves off duty for the day. Santa's got the tools in hand, wants to make it home to play. Christmas lights upon the dash, guiding him through frosty roads. Truck is roaring down the way as he's counting every load. Santa's working on the double, grease and sweat mixed in his beard. Hopes to beat the midnight hour, home with family so.
This is a direct violation, of course, more